Adam, another competitive showing. Again, keeping it pretty tight, but just couldn't quite stay with them. What was your overall assessment of it?
Oh, look, we keep fighting. There's no question about that. I'd like us to be able to finish our work a little better. Brisbane, obviously, really strong turnover defence team. We're able to show that again tonight. I think we had patches where we looked really good, but unfortunately, we had patches where they looked, better. So, we continue to work. We know we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of experienced guys, but we're trying to introduce some younger guys along the way too. And I think we're seeing glimpses of what those guys are capable of. We may be just not seeing it for long enough at this point in time.
Is it a good baseline that, as you're working on all this stuff, they're going to fight? I mean, they haven't lost a game by more than 3 goals, basically. Is that sort of a good building block?
Absolutely. I think it's where you need to start, effort and intent and attitude. And, I think that's first class. And as I said at the start, I know our guys are going to fight to the end, irrespective of what the scoreboard's telling us. Even to get down by 6, maybe a little bit more, 6 goals, and then to be able to fight our way back in the third quarter, when we'd completely lost all the momentum and Brisbane looked like they were going to run away with it, to be able to, again, fight back and just get it to within a manageable margin at three-quarter time and have a little bit of hope, and that's what you're looking at when you're in that position. I can't question it. It's a great foundation to build on, but there's too many details in our game that are just not quite there at the moment or consistent enough.
And a couple of injuries. Sam Taylor, how is he? Is that a hamstring?
Yeah, it was a hamstring. Yeah, I'm not sure the severity of it. He'll get scanned tomorrow, I would imagine. But yeah, it looks like it's a reasonable one. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that.
And Adam Kennedy was a kind of bizarre incident. It was kind of unclear as to how he actually hurt a knee. Have you got any sort of update on him?
Well, I couldn't really see it because it was over the boundary line when he got bumped, but it must have been how he landed or something. He didn't crash into the fence. I know that. So it must have been just on the landing.
You got 7 goals from defensive half intercepts. It seems like it's been a real focus on trying to use the corridor. Has it been hard bringing a pretty established group on a new way of thinking? Yeah,
it has been, and all the while trying to introduce some younger guys who have high talent into the team. But I thought out of the back half we looked pretty good. I thought Brisbane created 30 or 31 front half turnovers, so they still had the ball in their front half far too much. Some of that was their really, really strong defence and good contest. Some of it was us being just a little bit unpredictable and maybe some skill error stuff. But all in all, from the back half to be able to score 5 goals out of D50 is a really strong effort. So I think there were parts of our game that were good. There was some like the clearance game. I think we were plus 16 first possession, minus 6 clearance, and then they were able to kick 4 goals out of clearance in the third quarter to really assert their authority on the game. So if you talk about the game in a nutshell, I think the clearance goals were the margin.
Did not having Tom hurt that? You rotated a few different guys through that third.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he's a really important player for us. He's he's a big body. When he wins the ball, he tends to get it to his teammates. So I think it played a part. But the reality is, we had the ball in our hands 16 more times to start with than what Brisbane did around the stoppages, and we were unable to turn it into clearance. And so that'll be something that we need to tidy up.
How are you finding being a coach? 6 weeks in now? Is it meeting the expectations of the pressure and the stresses that you'd think you'd feel on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reality is we're improving each week. We're playing a top 4 team. Arguably one of the premiership favourites this week, and we keep fighting, and we make some errors, but we keep going, and we lose by just over 3 goals, and so I'm really pleased with the effort, but on the same hand, I'm pretty frustrated with some of the errors that we make and contests that we lose, and they invariably turn into scores for the opposition. So that's frustrating, but we keep plugging away. We keep trying to find the solutions as a coaching team, and then be able to train them and present them to our group to improve them. So We're no different to any other team in the comp. When we make errors, we've got to try and find the solutions and get to work at training.
Is it starting to look like how you want the Giants to play? Is this your brand of footy that's starting to emerge? That second half seemed a pretty clear split from the first.
Yeah. I think the thing is with us at the moment, I feel when we have the courage to be able to play the way that we want to play, sometimes we muck it up, sometimes we do, but sometimes we get through. And I think as we become more experienced as a team playing together, we get a greater level of understanding around the details, how we want to play. I think we get more of the really good moments and less of the not so good moments. So that's just, it's frustrating in the moment, but it does take time, unfortunately. And you see it with all the great clubs. They typically have started in the position that we're in, and they just keep plugging away and persisting and training and valuing the details, and eventually they're able to turn it around. And I'm hoping we're the same.
So you got 7 goals from O'Halloran and Daniels, 14 tackles inside 50. It seems like a more sustainable mix from the smalls beyond just the Toby show in previous years.
Well, I can't speak to previous years because I haven't been here, but certainly I was pleased with that element of our game. I felt like in the first quarter we didn't bring the ball to ground to give those guys an opportunity. After quarter time we were able to do that, and it played into the strengths of what we have in our front half. And Toby Bedford played his first VFL game back from a hamstring injury this morning. I didn't see the game, but apparently he was quite good, moved well, pulled up well. So he'll certainly be in the mix for next week, and he'll add much needed speed in our front half.
And just on, after Taylor went down, initially Himmelberg went back
Yeah.
there for a little bit, and then forward again. Was that just a few minutes to get the cooler head down there and organise things?
Well, we put him.
Something we're going to see again.
Well, yeah, it's a hard one given his ability to be able to do both. It's an ongoing challenge for us as a coaching team to place him where he's going to have maximum impact. We put him back for as soon as Sam went down, we put him back because he's like for like in a sense, and then gave us a little bit of time to work our way through the actual solution that we were going to have. So then when Kennedy came on, he just went back and replaced Himmelberg, and we sent him back forward. So we were pleased with Harry's game. I think he competed well in the front half. Obviously, he had a couple of shots at goal, finished some. Second ruck stuff it looked lively. But again, it is a challenge and an ongoing discussion around where we play.
Charlie kicked 7 goals. Is it hard to find?
Thanks for reminding me.
I didn't mention the 2 behinds.
Hit the post twice, didn't he?
Is it hard to find a matchup? I know Connor did most of the job on
Yeah.
it, but you rotated.
Well, we backed Connor in at the start, and he didn't kick all these goals on Connor, but like he's a star, isn't he? I mean, he's got the ability to win the ball in the air, win the ball on the ground. He's got speed. He can play high. He can play deep. He's a difficult matchup for anyone who plays on him every week. We knew that coming in. We backed Connor in, didn't quite get it done. That's the reality of it. So then we went to Kennedy when he came on, and it's a little bit more than just pinpointing. He was on him. He should have stopped him. I felt like, again, we were a little unpredictable with the ball, which created some pretty nice turnovers for them, which he was able to get on the end of. He certainly won some ball in some contest where we had opportunities to either mark it or spoil it away from him, and. But the challenge and the frustration, I guess it is that, okay, so some of these guys, we know what they can do, and right at this moment, they're beating us. Casting my mind back to a couple of weeks where Stringer kicked 4 goals, had 10 shots on goal. Same with Charlie Cameron tonight, 9 shots on goal. So we need to be better at being able to stop the absolute stars. We've had some good moments, but we didn't get it done tonight.
Is it Brisbane set up in the forward line a bit differently? They usually, Dunkley played super deep at times and Charlie played super deep. Is it harder facing a team that's a bit more atypical than
Well, they're certainly very versatile. As I said, he can play high. At times they push a midfielder forward. Ashcroft was there also, as was McCluggage. you know, that they keep asking questions of your defence, and that's why they're so good. That's why they're one of the favourites to win the premiership, because they've got all these weapons in the front half that if you make a minor error, they punish you. If you're not quite on positionally wise, they punish you. And so, you know, we're still working our way through that and becoming consistent in that space. But, you know, again, there was a lot to like around some of the way we defended. You know, they had a lot of entries. Particularly in the first quarter, I felt like they scored from them, but after quarter time, I felt like we defended our D50, you know, to the level that we would expect. And, you know, it just highlights because he was, you know, such a special player and was able to finish his work so well.